What's good, YouTube? It's jazzlovesmma here, and I'm going to be breaking down UFC Fight Night Baku, Rafael Fiziev versus Manuel Torres. Here are my full card predictions. Let's get started with the first fight of the night. Tahir Abdullayev versus Jefferson Nascimento. I don't know. I'm just going to go with the Azerbaijan dude. Honestly, neither of these guys' records have impressed me, and Nascimento is undefeated. But from what I saw in his last fight, he took a lot of damage. And this is pretty short notice. Like, this was like a randomly put together fight, I think. And I think it's like a pretty short notice fight as well. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even realize these guys were welterweights. When I looked at their topology pictures to look at their records and stuff, they look like heavyweights. So either I'm looking at the wrong fight, or Tahir is an absolute blob for welterweight. But I'm gonna pick Tahir by decision. I think this is gonna be an average, like, boring, like, mediocre early fight of the card. Maybe Nascimento took so much damage in the last fight to here get the KO, but I'm just gonna trust in a decision. Moving on to a really good fight, Beksa Almakhan versus G Matsumoto. This is a really tricky fight. Beksa Almakhan, heavy-handed dude, has had good performances against Alexandre Topuria, knocked out Brad Katona in one round, knocked down Umar, and then kind of got dominated on the grappling for the rest of that fight. Gene Matsumoto, close fights with everybody he's fought. Good kickboxer, Muay Thai fighter. And decent grappling as well. Made it very close with Rob Font. He used the grappling in that fight to make it very competitive. Farid Bashra, he was able to dig deep into the later portion of that fight, rounds 2 and 3. He started pouring it on more. He didn't get the decision there, but that's how he ended up like making it look good for himself. Miles Johns outstruck him. I don't know why that was a split decision, but it was. He's kind of a split decision merchant. He did have a good gilly in his debut against Bill Algeo, but even then that performance was kind of iffy. And I think Almakhan's fight IQ didn't look good against Alexandre Topuria. He should have kept chopping calves. But Gene Matsumoto isn't really the highest IQ fighter either. But Matsumoto's far more active, not only like in like his scheduling, but in the way he fights. I think he's a little bit more active on the feet. And I'm gonna trust in his chin a little bit. Oh, but man, he was getting rocked by Farid. I can see him getting like rocked by Beksa in round 1, having like a really bad round 1. Then he pours it on rounds 2 and 3. It's a split decision rounds 2. Almakhan make it close again, but maybe he gets out grappled in like a close striking round. And then round 3, Matsumoto wins. Beksa kind of slows down, and I can see Matsumoto pouring it on in round 3 and taking it to a decision. I'm going to pick Matsumoto by decision. I'm not super confident. I don't really know why he's a minus 150. I feel like they should be like even odds, but like Matsumoto's slight favorite. I kind of get, I guess, but it's just having close performances with top guys doesn't mean you're a top guy, because he's making it close with Barry Katona, who Almakhan just slept. Not just slept, but he slept in a round. So interesting fight. I wouldn't be surprised if Almakhan KO. He hits hard as fuck. He is fast, and Matsumoto defensively isn't really the best, but I'm gonna trust him to win a decision, have decent recovery, and survive. Moving on to Danilo Donjanko versus Theodore Berggren. Berggren off regionals, off Cage Warriors, I believe. Coming in short notice, was supposed to be Alexander Gustafsson. He sadly had to pull out this fight a while ago due to heart injuries. He also got cut from the UFC for that. Not because it's anything, but because they're like, okay, well, we don't even know if this dude's gonna be able to fight ever again, so it's might as well cut him. And this probably was his last fight on his contract. Danilo Donchenko, great Muay Thai striker, bit like Fiziev. He not big, like everything he does is very reminiscent of Fiziev. He does train at Tiger Muay Thai. What does that say? Oh, that's open. That's my OBS. But the Neil, he had a good run on tough. His finale was a great performance, round 1 TKO. The volume he was able to put on. Then he fought Alex Morono, and I didn't like how he looked in that fight. Because the way he moves his head, he's very stiff. He's like Fiziev, where he leaves himself open for straights, and he has a cut on his nose that he got in his tough finale, and it got reopened against Moreau. So I'm worried for that cut, especially for someone who's super young. But he has very good elbows. He's very good at low kicks. I think he should have gone to the low kicks a little bit more against Morono. Like Morono's like visibly being disabled by them. Then he also got robbed of like around 1 KO. He hit him with like a big right hand and almost finished him. Berggren never been KO'd. I would want to pick. Like, I would not want to pick him here, but I would want to say he's going to be this competitive. But his resume doesn't really show me that. And he doesn't have really good wins that stand out to me. So I'm going to pick Daniil Danchenko either by like round 2 KO. I'm leaning him by decision, to be honest. I think he's going to get a decision here. And yeah. But I can see him getting a KO rounds 2 or 3. But I just didn't like his finishing instinct against Morono. And I think Berggren being in his debut will make it tricky for Danchenko, him having full preparation to deal with Berggren's style. Would make it tricky for him. And I think this will end up going to a decision. But Daniil Danchenko does have power. He's nasty Muay Thai. He's one of my favorite prospects. So hopefully he does well here. Everyone I root for dies. So moving on to Khan Offley versus Javier Reyes. Khan Offley coming off a, in my opinion, robbery win against Yijia. I was forgetting his name. I was going to say Muhammad Yahya, but Yijia. Before that, he lost to Naimov. Before that, Myron Santos left him. Javier Reyes coming off his UFC debut against, I forgot who, Andrade. I forgot his first name. Sylvia Andrade or Andrade Silva, something like that. Or honestly, I think he got like drops for round for like a second. Then he dropped his opponent, got the KO round 1. Honestly, I really don't know the pick here. I saw the odds and I was like, oh man, maybe I should pick Khan Offley. But the more I think about it, I'm like, I may just pick Javier Reyes by like shitty decision. Like, I really see this fight being a stinker. Javier Reyes is really open on the feet, so I can see him getting rocked or something. He does hit pretty hard, but Offley showed a decent recovery in this last fight. I just think I don't know. Because like is Javier Reyes as good as Yijia? No. He's good as Naimov? No. He's not gonna sleep in like Myron Santos did. He's a decent size here though. He's a decent size advantage over Offley. Offley's a pretty small dude. So I just think the size difference is gonna cause Offley issues. So yeah, I'm gonna pick Reyes, Javier Reyes by decision. Yeah. Big up Colombia. Moving on to the Sultan Ruiziboyev versus Andrei Puliev. Ruiziboyev coming off what I think the Dustin Stoltzfus win ages ago, where he won by decision and it was pretty unimpressive. Puliev coming off the Gaultier performance where he shocked a lot of people. Took Gaultier to a decision. He hit his big shots. Before that, he had beat Nick Klein by a body KO after being smudged in round 1. I'm going to pick Puliev here by decision. I think Puliev's chin is good enough to survive Ruiziboyev's shots, and Ruiziboyev looked really shit against Stoltzfus. Now that I'm remembering his last fight, he looked really shit against Stoltzfus. I know he was supposed to fight Brian Battle at some point last year. I think it was like near the end. I think it was on the Alex Pereira Ankalaev 2 card. But I'm not really. He's good. He's fast. He's a decent striker, but I'm just not all that impressed with Ruiziboyev. I am gonna leave Puliev. Puliev isn't really that good either, but I feel like his Gaultier performance makes me trust in his chin. He looked decent against CLD. It wasn't the best performance against CLD because he clearly lost, but He ain't got chin there either. He's shown a decent chin. He's decently skilled. Um, and yeah, I don't think Rosenboy is as good as Gauzy or CLD really. I think he's a little bit worse than those two guys. So I'm gonna pick Andre Puliev here by decision. Don't think he'll be fine. I can see them being smushed up against the fence with each other. Abdul Rahman Yakyaev against Julius Walker. Yakyaev off the nasty um, sub against Francis Ribeiro, which honestly didn't look that good. He's a dynamic striker though. Has good submissions when he can drop people. Julius Walker, but like decent striking. He's coming off the Dustin Jacoby loss where he took crazy damage for no reason. Was getting walled all over the place in round 2. Refs stopped it pretty late. I made a whole video about that, I think. Um, and yeah, I'm gonna pick JJ Ribeiro round 1 finish. I didn't like how he looked against Ribeiro because he did get I think he got hurt and nearly drawn off a head kick. But Julius Walker really isn't that good. He's the only person in the UFC to take Rafael to a decision. And honestly, he got hurt in that fight, I think. So I think there's going to be around 1 KO or sub from that guy. It's hard to pick. I've picked him by KO in his last 2. He's proved me wrong. But Julius Walker has decent recoverability. To just not get flat lines straight up. So I could see Yakyaev getting a sub here. So yeah, I'm gonna pick Yakyaev right on 1 sub. KO is possible as well if he just wants to look for the ground and pound. Hopefully he makes weight. I think he missed weight for his last fight. So hopefully he makes weight here. Yeah. Farman Hassanov versus Eric Nolan. Hassanov trains in ATT. Azerbaijan prospect. Eric Nolan, decent striker. His last fight against Suzhakayev, he's had pullouts and opponents pulling out, I believe, since then. I wanted to find I was going to originally pick Eric Nolan here. Felt like he looked good against Suzhakayev, and that's a pretty good performance he had. And we heard him, almost finished him at the end of round 1. But at the same time, I was like, oh, and then they just got this random prospect against him. No way. I feel like it was a layup for Eric Nolan. Shouldn't be an underdog. But Hassanov has decent wins. I looked at his record. Decent wins on his resume. Only 5-0. He has he's beat 2 undefeated, decent undefeated guys. So yeah, I'm gonna pick Hassanov by decision here. Actually, I forgot to see his finish rate. He's never been to the decision. Actually, no, he did. He decisioned Luke Roberts, which isn't that bad of a win. So yeah, I'll be picking by decision here. Eric Nolan's tough test, but I think Hassanov will get it done 5-0. I do want to pick Eric Nolan though. I feel like he's a pretty crafty underdog pick, but I just don't know if I can pick him here. Hassanov is a little bit his record is pretty decent. Haven't watched any of his tape though. Abus Magomedov versus Mikhail Listashik. Abus Magomedov, decent grappler, someone good striker, coming off the Piper loss, where he dominated in the grappling round 1, got knocked down in round 2 and submitted. Listashik, coming off the Marc-Andre Barriault performance, where took him to a decision, get very scrappy. Decent southpaw boxer, has some occasional kicks. It's a tricky fight because if Oldestation can't defend the takedowns, Abus probably dominates and could get a round 1 sub because he was able to dominate Piper in the grappling round 1. But at the same time, what if he just survives round 1? Oldestation probably hits you almost as hard as Piper, and he's a very technical southpaw boxer. And he targets the body well. His left straight to the body is nasty. I really just envision him slowing Abus down with lefts to the body. Can I trust Oldestation not to get subbed down? He trains with fighting nerds, man. That's a good team. He didn't get subbed by Barajo. Why didn't I say Barajo that way? He didn't get subbed by Barajo. That was impressive. Did he? I don't think he did. I think he got taken to a decision. I'm really tempted to. I really want to pick out the Stashik here because I think he can survive round one, and he's gotten better in his last couple fights. Oh my god, that's right. He got subbed round two, but Calabaro I think can keep up a better pace than that. He did get subbed by Michael Pereira, but he got like dropped. Michael Pereira was like fast and explosive. That was like prime Michael Pereira. That was like prime King Vaughn. And like he was nearly cut, and he's on a good 3-fight win streak. I think he's gonna get like a round 2 KO here. I think he trains with a good team. He's shown better grappling. He got subbed by Kevin Holland off his back after he'd been dropped him with like a left hand or right hand. I'm gonna pick Olasashik. I'm gonna trust in. Those are not the odds for that fight. They're like evens. I'm gonna trust in Olasashik having been like getting his grappling better and training with Barajo and the other fighting nerds, and I think they have some decent grapplers in the gym as well. I'm gonna trust in like his training, and I feel like he's gonna slow down Abus in round one. Maybe he gets taken down, controlled, almost subbed. Round two comes, Abus is gassing. Olasashik landing left hands to the body, cracks him up top, gets a KO, maybe like a TKO against the fence. That's what I see happening. So yeah, pick is gonna be Olasashik, round 2 KO. TKO. Akram and this card was brutal for it, bro. This whole main card is full of 50-50 fights, man. Akram coming off the not Petro Williams. Who did he beat? I'm forgetting the name. But brutal for coming off the Gregory Rodriguez loss. That was one of the first fights I did the predictions for. He got brutally stepped in round one. It was a pretty bad performance before that he'd beat Vettori. He's a decent boxer, has some pretty good jiu-jitsu, pretty decent grappler. Andre Muniz. That's who Alex Garov beat. That's not his last one. He beat Jung Park. He beat the Iron Turtle by decision. And honestly, a really tough fight for himself. I think he like nearly finished him at some point. I heard him. Both decent boxers. I think Alex Garov a little bit better boxer. But I think his chin's worse. Getting chinned by Kamsa Chimaev, getting chinned by Robert Whittaker. Bad looks. Ruziboyev chins Ferreira. And I think I rate his power a little bit more than Whittaker and Chimaev's. So I'm going to go Bruno Ferreira around 1 KO. Not confident at all. Oh man, I'm just so worried for him. Because I can see him getting chinned here. And I think that's the issue. Like, he's the one coming off the KO loss. So how will he fight? But he's been KO'd before. By like Ruziboyev. Esker's pretty good. But I'm going to pick, I think I'm going to lean for the underdog pick by KO. Is he the only underdog I've picked so far? Oh no, the Stashik is like a slight underdog. Pelayo, yeah, alright. I can see him landing that same uppercut too. Like if he watches tape, he probably push Askarov back and then find that uppercut. Or even off the back foot, if he's getting pressured by Askarov, he has decent counters off the fence. He showed that against Gregory Rodriguez in their first fight. He KO'd Phil Halls with fucking ear punch. He literally punched him in the ear and TKO'd him or KO'd him. So yeah. I wouldn't pick Ferreira by KO. Not super confident. I'm really worried for him. Moving on to is it the feature fight? No. Oscar Almabayev versus Charles Johnson. Almabayev, a decent grappler. Beat Alex Perez in his last performance. Was that before he beat Jose Ochoa by decision? He got a great submission over Alex Perez. Speaking of Alex Perez, Charles Johnson lost Alex Perez earlier this year. He beat Bruno Silva on short notice. Beat. I don't think Charles Johnson won that fight. I'm gonna pick Oscar Mabayev by decision, but really cautiously. He's really good control. He beat Jose Johnson or something like that, who is a very tall dude for the division. Taller, I think, than Charles Johnson, of course, but he was able to control him. He did perfectly fine against a taller opponent there. Alex Perez was giving him issues, but Alex Perez is short. I feel like it's harder to grapple with someone shorter than you sometimes. He wasn't shorter than him, but like similar stature, his heavy hands, he hits hard, he's experienced, and he was able to out grapple him. And then his only other recent loss was Manuel Torres. He did lose that convincingly, but he got eye poked. Some mascaras is there. And Charles Johnson, how did he look good? Did he look good against Bruno Silva? I don't think so. Like, he has decent volume, but he doesn't really hit that hard. And Asuma Bayev doesn't really like pass like Loner or Joshua Van. I can easily see him controlling Johnson for like 2 rounds, and then maybe like round 2, just feeling himself. He's putting volume on. Asuma Bayev gets taken down. Like Amba's dealt with like heavier hitters, maybe not like volume strikers like him, but he has dealt. What the hell just came on my screen? Whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna pick Asuma Bayev by decision. I don't think he's gonna get a sub here. I think Johnson will work on like not getting gillied, and Asuma Bayev doesn't necessarily get a lot of subs anyway. So yeah, the pick here is gonna be Asuma Bayev decision. I'm not really confident. Charles Johnson could win, but like, I don't really know if he's gonna really. Is he really gonna put like a whole bunch of volume? He doesn't necessarily hit that hard either, so I think Asuma Bayev has in the bag. Nazim Sadikov versus Mateus Camilo. Mateus Camilo, decent striker. Kind of got a robbery win over Slavaklaus in his last fight before that got beat by Gabe Green. I think got subbed. Nazim Sadikov coming off the bad performance against Fares Diane, where he got KO'd in round 2 with an elbow after being dominated in the grappling. Sadikov should get a really easy KO here in round 1. He doesn't really get easy KOs. That's not really how he fights. He like takes a bit to like he like loses until he wins, and I think he could easily do it here. Camilo's isn't really good at all, and I do rate Sadikov as like a dude just outside the rankings. Well, I really don't rate Camilo at all. This should be an easy layup for Nazim Sadikov. If I'm being honest, should get like a round 1, early round 2. Yeah. Moving on to Shermagomedov versus Mikel Pereira. Mikel Pereira coming on the Zachary Reese win, where he arguably lost. Very scrappy fight, untechnical as fuck, but it was fun. Shermagomedov, I think, coming off the Marc-Andre Barriault performance. Wow, it's been a while since he's fought. Where he honestly looked pretty awful. And when this fight got booked, I wanted to pick Mikel Pereira, because I was like, oh, sure, Shermagomedov looks really shit against Marc-Andre Barriault. But then I'm like, Zachary Reese arguably beat Mikel Pereira. And I do think Shermagomedov is a way better striker than Zachary Reese. And Zachary Reese was fighting like an idiot in that fight. Like, Shermagomedov like isn't really that good, but I do trust him to be a better striker than Zachary Reese. He's a decent finisher, and if he cheats, nothing happens to him. So even if Mikel Pereira looks for a takedown, probably doesn't get it. So I'm gonna leave Shermagomedov like round 2 KO. Most likely a decision. I'm gonna pick him by decision, but I could really see like a KO happening, flashy like kick or something. because he doesn't really have a lot of power. Yeah, that's right. He doesn't really have a lot of power. But I mean, he took Burial, so the decision hurt him. Um, but they always say she couldn't even finish him. Piper, for Piper's powers are different, I guess. Then who was he fought? Coley took him to round 3. That's symbolic. Yeah, I think he'll win a decision here where he just like outclasses Pereira a little bit. Maybe hurts him in moments, but Pereira survives. And yeah, I'm going to pick Sharamagomedov here by decision. Moving on to the main event. This video is probably ages long. Rafael Fiziev versus Manuel Torres. Fiziev coming off the roofie loss. Great Muay Thai striker. Decent hands. A little bit overrated power. He has pop in his hands, but he's not really knocking a lot of people out. I mentioned that in my last video. And I'm going to be bringing up that video soon. It should be around here. Manuel Torres has the death touch. I mentioned that in my power tiers list. Nasty hands. Not really nasty hands. He's a bit of a sloppy striker, but he has crazy power. Now, I feel like Fiziev should win this. Fiziev should be able to outclass Torres. But will he? That's the question. Will he? Since Fiziev has come back from the Amra loss, he seemingly slowed down. His chin got worse. When I say slowed down, like his speed, he didn't like physically slow down, but the volume and the output he throws slowed down. It was super evident the roofie fight where he really all he needed was a little bit more volume and he could have won it. He's super susceptible to uppercuts and like straight shots. That's Torres' game. Uppercuts and 1-2s is like his best weapons. He is a super sloppy striker, and it's like, do I rate Bahamondes' power more than Fiziev's? Because he wasn't really rocking or even dropping Fiziev. He was like stinging him, but like he wasn't like having him do Chico dance. And he was able to perfectly counter Torres, but like what made the style like stylistically difficult for Torres was the fact that Bahamondes was equally as tall as him. Will Fiziev be able to counter him when he comes in? I feel like this may be a KO either way. Like where like Fiziev takes it like to round 2, he's chewing him up with the kicks. Why am I speaking like that? He's chewing him with the kicks, body kick, switch kick, leg kick. He circles around, bang bang, hooks up top, or he fades back. Torres comes in, bang, right hand on him. He deals. He was getting caught loads by Bahamondes as 1-2. More technical striker. But yeah, that's the thing, man. He's losing to way better strikers than Torres. Torres' striking really isn't that good. But his power is nasty. And Fiziev's chin is deteriorating. I'm going to pick Manuel Torres by KO. Round 1. At LOCO. His power is different. He will land the 1-2 and stuff. And Fiziev's there to be hit. He moves his head. He does the flashy little Bunny Man, but he gets caught by 1-2s, and I think this is just another sad loss for Fiziev that we're gonna win this. Maybe it's another crafty vet performance. He's motivated by the Gaethje loss or the Gaethje win, like when he beat Ilya. He's motivated, but I just think Torres is gonna chin him, man. I just think he's there to be hit by Torres' shots, especially the uppercut. And I don't think he has the countering ability. He does counter good, but he's still getting caught by Bahamondes in round 1. But 2 was landing clean for him. And I can see Torres landing that. So he chinned Dober. And Dober's worse than Fiziev, but I just see it happening, man. Sad downfall for Fiziev. I think Fiziev's gonna be doing good until he just gets cracked by a big right hand and gets wobbled, gets finished in Azerbaijan. And I think it's gonna be sad. But those are my predictions for UFC Baku, Fiziev versus Torres. Let me know your guys. Do you guys disagree with my main event pick? Do you guys disagree with any other of my picks? Let me know in the comments below. If you guys want any fitness gear, check out Time Fitness. Use my promo code jazzle7. And I'm gonna have 2 more videos tomorrow, Friday. Catch you guys there. Peace.